Hello everyone, this is Mumbo and welcome back to another Minecraft video. Today we're going to be doing something a little bit different because I've just hopped into the latest snapshot that released yesterday and it looks really interesting. I mean, we've got all types of new blocks. We have bark blocks, which is going to be amazing for building. We also have these rather strange looking things which are stripped wood blocks, but I have to say I kind of like them. Yeah, those look super cool. We also have a bunch of other stuff. Obviously, turtles have been added into the game. Something that I personally like is prismarine stairs and slabs. As someone who has an ocean base based heavily around these blocks, this is all very exciting. We've got kelp blocks and, of course, yeah, all of the new mobs. For example, turtles. I want to see these things for myself. Wow. They look amazing. Jeez, these things are also absolutely terrifying. Wow. Okay. Oh, anyway, I'm going to stop messing around with the new features that have been added into the game because there's one thing that really interests me, and that's the new water mechanics. So now, when you drop an item inside water, it will float up to the surface. So there it goes. So if I was to create a system that looks a little bit like this, what would happen there? Not a whole lot, and I think it's because those items are actually stacking up down at the bottom before they can move upwards. Once they begin to finish stacking up, maybe they'll start floating. This is all experimental. I kind of like the thought of having this as an item elevator, and it makes me a little bit sad to see that potentially it doesn't work. Now, I imagine this is because the water on the inside wasn't made of source blocks, so now I have a non-flowing water stream, and if we dump the items on the inside there, then yes, they do float up, and I was going to say, when I first built this thing, I was going to say that there's no point in building a system that looks like this, because you might as well do the ones with the blocks on the inside, but oh my word, it looks like a lava lamp. This is the single coolest thing ever. And then look at all this water just floating up at the top. All those items just bobbing up to the top there. That looks amazing. Okay. As I say, it's much slower than the standard item elevator that we use with blocks on the inside. I'm actually going to just quickly check that that still works because they've made a lot of changes to Minecraft physics. So if we just place the items on the inside here, yeah, you can see it's considerably faster to do it this way, but it doesn't look anywhere near as cool, and coolness is very important to me. So I'm going to be using water elevators from this point forth. Now, I believe there's a handful of things that Mojang want to do regarding water interacting with objects like this, because in theory, that water should be able to flow underneath this half slab, but obviously it doesn't because Minecraft is like that, and also it should be able to flow past this sign, but it doesn't. That's how it's been for ages, but I do believe that Mojang are going to change that. However, at this point in time, this is what the system looks like, and I'm just wondering how the items behave in flowing water streams. So if we just send these guys up like this, obviously they'll gradually throw up through the awesome item elevator that we have right here, and then whoa, okay, they move fast. But they float up to the surface there, which means that slabs are out of the question. If anything, hold up. I wonder if a slab at the bottom is better. No. So we're probably going to have to make use of signs. I mean, they do travel so fast now, though. These items are flying through this as if they're on compressed ice. Before we used to have to press ice underneath this. Now they're just flying through, and I guess it's because they're floating up at the top, there's no friction. But it has got me thinking, if they do decide to make it so that water can flow through signs and things, is there anything that I can do to still create water streams that function? And one idea that I've had is to do something like this, and then we cover up that block. And there we go. So we now have a system. If we remove these, we now don't have anything here that the water can flow through. We have a source block that flows in this direction. And if we place items on the inside, you can see they go up through the item elevator as expected, and then they should shoot along this water stream, and we're not relying on any cheaty, that's what Mojang are referring to it as, cheaty water mechanics, like placing signs to stop water from flowing through them. It's working like this. We got nothing there. So just as a quick explanation as to how this works, water will always search for the nearest hole to flow down. So you can see we placed in that water source block. In theory, if that wasn't there, it would just spread out in all forms of directions. But because that hole is there, it searched for it and goes down it. But if we now cover up that hole, it will flow off like this. But it doesn't update this water source up at the back, which means that we still have a flowing water source, and it just abruptly stops right here. It looks very unnatural, but that means that we can use that inside water streams without having to rely on signs or pressure plates or upside down slabs that we used in all of our water streams previously, because as I say, I think Mojang are looking into changing the water mechanics so that they don't do things like this and the water just flows straight past them. Now say for example we wanted to raise up our items by 1 block. Would we be able to do this purely using water? So this is the concept that I've come up with, and if we were to just throw an item inside here, I'm assuming because that water is flowing down, oh my word. So you can now do it. Oh, this is amazing. And it gets even better because we can do it in situations like this as well. You can see the water just flows in and the items just go shooting straight into that, and then they gradually make their way up through this water here. Now this is pretty tall and it's only got a water source block up at the top, which is a little bit confusing because if I replace all of these water sources going down through this item elevator, if I replace all of those with just a water source block up at the top right here, it stops working. It doesn't work at all. Look, the items just stay down at the bottom. They don't go anywhere. Now I wonder if this has something to do with the items going right the way down to the bottom, but it doesn't. It has nothing to do with that. So I wonder if there's just a maximum height that these items can travel up, or maybe if we place some water sources here. How strange! I think I've sussed this one out. So I've placed a water source block directly in front of our dropper, right there. And if we start dropping out items, then they should begin to flow up, and they do. So what you need to do is have a water source at the top and a water source down at the bottom, and then it will work as an item elevator. So let me give the original design another go. It works! It actually works! Some items are flowing out the sides. I feel like we should maybe add a few extras going up like that. Oh, that has fixed it. Oh, this is beautiful. Now, are any of the items going to struggle to get out of here? Do any of them have some angular momentum that is going to push them out the side? Or is this a totally reliable elevator? Because if it is, that makes me very happy. The only thing is some are getting caught on the sides of these blocks. That could be a bit of a potential problem. But otherwise, I'm chuffed to bits with that one. Right, let's place these going up like this. Here we go. This is going to be the one that works, I reckon. That should get rid of any angular momentum that these things will have. They'll now be traveling directly straight upwards, and they should fit within the glass tube at the top, and it looks like they will. There we go. Awesome new item elevator, now fully functioning in Minecraft. This looks brilliant. This looks absolutely brilliant. Oh, I can't wait to get this dotted around in my base. Now, one other interesting thing that they've added into the game is the fact that Magma Blocks are meant to create bubble columns. But by the look of things, they don't. They also stop things floating, but that does not seem to be the case for me. I wonder if I'm going crazy here. I wonder if... Did they say lava? They can't mean lava, because as soon as I place lava here, look, it turns into... That's obvious. I've been playing Minecraft for long enough to know what happens when lava meets water. So I don't know if that's not a thing, or if I'm just going crazy. Either way, this video has been super interesting, at least for me, because we've come up with, well, we've come up with a bunch of different ways in which we can do things in Minecraft, like item elevators and things like that. We've come up with future solutions to problems. This little thing right here should come in handy. I hope it stays in the game, fingers crossed. We've played around with the different water mechanics. We've come up with awesome looking designs. We've also seen some things that potentially don't work as intended, so we'll have to look into that. But all in all, this has been great for me. I cannot wait for the new update to come out, because not only is there a bunch of awesome new features, like all of the different types of trapdoors we now have, and the different types of pressure plates, and all the new blocks that we can play with too, but there's also some new game mechanics that we can use inside redstone contraptions, and that is always a good thing. But anyway, ladies and gentlemen, I hope that you've enjoyed this video. If you did, please sure to hit that like button, and if you really loved it, then make sure to subscribe. But thanks for watching, guys. This has been Mumbo, and I'm out. I'll see you later.